All right. Hey, hey there. What's up, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? Hope you're having a great Monday so far. All right. I got a good workout in this morning. It's good. Working out is good. Exercise is good. I know as we're waiting for some more people to jump on and join. Hey, how you doing? Sharkeisha, MC, what's up? Hey, how you feeling today? All right. Good afternoon. Jocelyn Denise, 33. Hey, how you doing? It's good to have you on the scope here today. Afternoon from the 757. Hey, good afternoon. Hey, invite some more people. Invite your people out. We're going to talk for about 10 minutes. Hey, from Paducah, Kentucky. Hey, all right, Paducah, Kentucky. Hey, Paducah, Kentucky is actually where my wife was born. Hey, what's going on? What's up, Joe? How you doing? Hey, Paducah, Kentucky was actually where my wife was born, so that's a crazy coincidence. Blessings from Vermont. Hey, how you doing? All right. Rev J. Arnold. All right, I appreciate the share. Jocelyn, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And while we're waiting for some more people to come on, before I get started, this ain't even my topic. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? This ain't even my topic, but man, like people on Periscope can be so rude. Like I am shocked and surprised. It does. I guess it doesn't make me angry. It's just shocking. Like I was watching somebody else's scope earlier today, and they were just trying to encourage people through their Monday, and somebody just dropped f bombs. Just I'm like that's not even necessary, and it's amazing how bold and how courageous people are behind a screen. But they won't say a lot of that stuff to your face or when you're in their presence, and it's just ridiculous. Like folks ain't got no manners. Hit me with some hearts if you agree. Let me know you agree, because it's crazy out here. I'm like, man, folks ain't got no manners. Who, your wife? People from Kentucky? No, my wife's people are not from Kentucky. Actually, her mom and dad just happened to be living there when she was born. So I know that's random. Yeah, I know. Only distractions. So it's crazy. So people get to talking crazy on our scope. We just run that block party real quick, right? So what I wanted to talk to you today about is about reputation. Developing a good reputation is important and will speak up for you when no one is around. A good reputation makes you better. Now, I am a big fan of good reputations because I believe a good reputation is so key because it can lead to opportunities and it can shut down other opportunities before you even know about them. Have you ever had somebody who didn't like you speak for you to somebody else? Maybe they're trying to get a understanding, get the 411 on you. Maybe a girl, maybe you're a guy, and so maybe a girl was asking their friends about you, and they're like, nah, don't mess with him, don't mess with him. And you're trying to figure out, now, why would you say that? Why would that happen? Yeah, your reputation is your brand, and you are your best brand manager. And I believe that reputation is very important. That's one thing I think that my father taught me a lot about was reputation, because it's the one thing that you can't necessarily buy with money, and you can't change it other than doing it for yourself. And it's the thing that lives on. I mean, that reputation is who you are and who others perceive you to be. So I hit you with a little story. My middle son, Jordan, he's his first year is high school this year. He's a freshman this year, but last year he was in middle school in seventh and eighth grade, and so last year in seventh grade, I'll back up. In seventh grade, he's always been a great student. Hey, how you doing? He's always been a great student. Married though. He's always been a great student, but he had some challenges in school. He was getting good grades, great grades academically, but he was getting into some issues with teachers, and it was causing him some problems. Jordan likes to play around, he likes to goof around. He's 14 years old, and so if you're a guy, you remember being a teenage guy, and a lot of stuffs are jokes to you, and you like to just clown around, and so he likes to clown around, he likes to prank, and so but it was too much, and so What happened in seventh grade is he started developing a reputation of kind of being a clown, being a prankster, but it wasn't good with the teachers. And so what started happening was, as he went through seventh grade and even as he started fresh in eighth grade, what started happening is he wanted to make a change, and he didn't want the negative attention. He didn't want to get in trouble with any teachers or anything. And so he wanted to change his reputation. And the thing I told him about eighth grade, I said, Jordan, you have an opportunity to start fresh, to start new. So make sure you do the right thing, say the right thing, be appropriate at all times, and just follow instruction. And he did really good for a while. For some months, he was doing good. But, he kind of tapered back into some old ways. And what happened was he started, as he battled with trying to do better and then, being the old self, he started being accused and blamed of some things that were going on that he didn't feel it was fair that he was being blamed for the situations that he said he had nothing to do with. And I kept trying to explain to him, I said, Jordan, your reputation precedes you. That means it speaks for you. So when they're in the middle of these teacher meetings and things like that and you're not around, if you've developed a reputation that says, this is what I do, then more times than not, they're going to think that you did it, even if you're weren't there in the situation. And what happens is our reputation will speak for us even when we are not there. That's one of the most important things about reputation. It will say what you are capable of doing or not doing. And so he would get upset and he was like, man, these teachers keep, blaming this and that. And it was my friend over here, and he did that. And I said, Jordan, I told you at the beginning of the year, make sure that you set the standard, set the tone, have a good relationship and a good reputation, because if you don't, your reputation is going to speak for you and you're going to find unnecessary negative attention, even when you're not doing anything, because your reputation says, hey, this is how I usually act. And so instead of being innocent until proven guilty, he was finding himself guilty until proven innocent. And he's had a much better year this year. And I think along with maturity, I think that the message of your reputation got through to him. And so he's doing much better this year. But the thing was, he wasn't a bad kid. He just didn't understand yet how to make sure to develop that great reputation. So when you get in these challenges and folks are blaming other folks, your reputation speaks for you, and you want to have a good character. You want to have a good reputation. I feel like this is something that that a lot of young people should understand, because, come on, social media. Social media is your brand. That is your reputation. Whether you like it or not, that's exactly what happens. Good example with the initial issues at her South African school, Oprah. Yeah. And so what I think is interesting for us to remember is we got to know that as we manage our brand, manage our reputation, what we put online and on the internet, it lives forever. Whether we want to admit it or not, do you know that what you put online lives forever? And so when you're putting this stuff online, don't think that it just kind of goes away. Even if they're telling you they're deleting it, it's probably being saved somewhere in a server. And what you want to know is that everything that you put out there tells a story about who you are. Even jobs now. I think they said jobs in colleges are even looking at social media history. And I know I'm so glad that social media wasn't around when I was young either. So they're even looking at your history, your social media history. And so you want to prove what kind of person you are and what kind of person you want to be by having good things that reflect who you really are on your social media. Now, here's the other thing. When you have a reputation that's a negative reputation, you shouldn't be surprised when people treat you that way. But that if that's not the real you, then you can always work to change it. Reputation is important. It's going to speak for you when you're not around. Your social media reputation is going to speak for you when you're not around, even when you're not tweeting, you're not periscoping, you're not posting, you're not Instagramming. But they can go back and look at your reputation of who you've portrayed yourself to be. Reputation is just a perception of who I'm presenting myself to be. That's it. And so if you want a good reputation, you got to put your best foot forward. Doesn't mean that we have to be perfect people, but sometimes people be putting on some stuff, man. I mean, and I'm thinking, yeah, you got to manage your brand. I'm thinking like, man, do you really want that to live for the next year online? And that becomes a part of you. It becomes you. How many times have we looked at somebody online on social media and thought that we knew them? Like, just because we were able to see all their social media, we kind of feel like we know them. Well, what if that's not the real them? And you say, well, what do you mean? Of course this is the real them, because this is the representation of who they are. This is their reputation. Them and their brand and their reputation is not, you can't separate it. It's inseparable. It even says in Proverbs chapter 25, or excuse me, Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 1, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. And it also says in one translation, it says, choose a good reputation over great riches. And being held in high esteem is better than silver and gold. So even in Proverbs, the Bible tells us how important having a good reputation is, and that it is something that we should choose even over great riches. So there's a high value on reputation. Yeah, your reputation, it'll always precede you. And like, think about the culture that we're in now. And we're in that culture where you have a lot of recommendations. Like me and my wife like to go on dates, and so a lot of times we'll look at recommended restaurants. We'll look at reviews, maybe Google reviews, maybe Yelp. Sometimes, how about a word of mouth, right? How many of y'all have gone to a restaurant because of word of mouth? Somebody's like, "Oh, you got to go to this new restaurant. It's really good. It tastes really good." Well, that recommendation right there, that's based on the reputation of the restaurant. They had a great experience at this restaurant, and so now it's getting a reputation for being a restaurant with good food. So you can see, even all throughout our culture is now starting to be based on brand and reputation management. A lot of what we do is based on a referral from somebody else. Think of how many times this year you did something, you bought something, you went somewhere, you ate something, you looked at something based on what somebody else suggested to you, somebody that you trusted. Hey, that's reputation, word of mouth. That is a reputation. And so check this out. People are the same way. And you can either open doors of opportunities or close doors of opportunities based on your reputation. Unfortunately, I've dealt with some artists in the past, even in the gospel industry, who weren't so easy or weren't so great to work with. And you know what? They were starting to get a reputation kind of around the gospel realm and Christian circles, that they were not an artist that was easy to work with, and they weren't necessarily a pleasant artist to work with. And that's unfortunate, because they have a great gift to offer the world, but if you don't have the character and the good reputation to go with it, then people aren't going to want to work with you. And so I want to tell you, make sure that you have a good reputation. What you're posting online, what you're doing, what you're saying, make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, because you are building a reputation. And my dad always used to teach me, son, always remember, somebody's watching. Somebody's always watching. Somebody's always listening. Somebody's always looking. So always take note and be careful of what you're doing, because somebody is looking at it. Somebody's being affected. Your reputation is being built. It's either being built up or it's being destroyed. And you have the choice. So I want to encourage you guys today, make sure to make the right choice. Developing a good reputation is important and will speak up for you even when you are not around. A good reputation, it makes you better. So make sure to have a good reputation. And let me tell you, if you feel like you've made the wrong reputation, you can always change it. Sometimes I've had some people delete their whole social media networks because it just wasn't the correct representation of who they were or who they wanted to be. Sometimes you just got to start fresh, but no day's a bad day to build a good reputation. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for logging on. I hope you are having a great week. Your week is off to a wonderful start. I appreciate all the love, and make sure to share this with somebody else to encourage them. Character is important, reputation is important, and what we do matters. So have a great day. Praise God from St. Louis. I appreciate you logging on. Thank you so much, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Remember, having a good reputation makes you better.